Hello and welcome to another episode of Behind the Business. Now, before I jump into today's episode, I want to let you know that I actually recorded this episode yesterday on the 27th of September. Today, it is the 28th of September. And what you are about to hear in the episode is me talking about how we are $5,000 away from a $100,000 month. Now, at the time, I had a lot of conviction and confidence that we were going to surpass the 100K month. Just because that is where my energy and my belief lies. However, I didn't know exactly where we would end up, and I just wanted to come in here 24 hours later and let you know that not only did we hit 100K, but we are now at over $105,000 cash for the month. And as you know, I just said it's the 28th of September, so we still have several days left of the month. So I just wanted to come in and share that because I think it's this important reminder that when you have a lot of belief in yourself, belief in the process that you are following, that your conviction goes a long way, your energy goes a long way, your belief creates your results if you truly believe it, right? Because your thoughts create your feelings, and your feelings create the actions that you do or do not take, and your actions dictate the results that you get. And it's so special because, again, you'll hear me talk about this in today's episode, but I just wrapped up a weekend virtual retreat with my clients, and day 2 was talking all about mindset and the importance of your beliefs. And I was telling them how I was just a few $1,000s away from a 100K month, but I was so certain we were going to reach it. And then it was literally a couple of hours after that retreat that I had someone land in my email inbox saying, "Hey Sofia, do you have a spot available to work with you?" And she joined, right, and paid in full. So I just thought that was super, super special, and I wanted to come in here and share that so that you have this energy for the remainder of the episode that you listen to, that your conviction is just so, so important. Like, your belief is absolutely everything. And then when you have support and a strategy to back that, that's where you can go a long way. So Geordie and I are going out to dinner tonight to celebrate because it is our biggest cash month yet again. We are just hitting milestone after milestone back to back at the moment. It's been the most abundant year ever. And that is what you're actually going to hear all about in this episode, is just how amazing your life gets to be when you have the right strategy, the right support, and the right process in place. All right, I love you all. Enjoy the episode, and I can't wait to hear your takeaways. Hello and welcome to another episode of Behind the Business. I wanted to record this episode quite honestly because I have had one of the best months of my entire life. I am feeling so abundant and so happy, and I want to share how my business has created this. So let's dive in. For context, it is currently the 27th of September as I'm recording this, so you'll be hearing this a little bit later, but it's going to be super valuable for you no matter what. So we've got a few days left of September, and we are about $5,000 away from another $100,000 cash month, which is so, so cool because it felt like it was such a build up and a long journey to get to our first 100K cash month. And now it's a repeatable thing where it is feeling easy and effortless every single time, which is just crazy. But that has been my reality my entire business. 10K months felt really hard until it didn't. 30K months felt really hard until it didn't. And 100K months is our new next chapter that we are at. And it feels super, super cool. But today's episode is super, super important to me because it's actually not so much about the flashy number, the amazing profit margin, or the really, really cool strategies that are getting us that. We have all of that. It's amazing. But what I'm talking about today means so much more to me. And that is talking about what my business has truly provided for me on an emotional level and in my personal life, because that is why I'm sitting here telling you that September has been one of the best months in such a long time. And mind you, all of the other months were great too, right? But it's such a high. It's not because of the amount of money, right? It's because the way I have designed my business model is very unique and rare. A lot of people can have really big businesses that make a lot of money, but it's pretty rare that you hear that they have that and that they have a clear calendar most days of the week, and they have a small team, and they have a high profit margin, and they are feeling quite stress-free more often than not. But that is genuinely my reality. I have a very small team of 4 people, including myself, right? So I've hired 3, contractors who I absolutely love and adore and couldn't do this without, to be honest. But I've got a very high profit margin. Like I said, my calendar is clear most days of the week. I run 2 group calls every single week, and then I'll have the occasional one-on-one or the occasional sales call, but that's about it. And a lot of what my calendar is filled with is my personal life, and this is something I'm very, very proud of. And what is so important to mention in all of this is my clients get incredible results. They are action takers, they are kind, they are doers, they are grateful, they lean into the experience, they are supported every single day by me personally at a very deep and high level. So it's not that my personal life takes away from client results. It's like, no, the business is healthy, client results are healthy, and my personal life is healthy all at once. And I have intentionally designed my business that way, and that is what I'm extremely, extremely proud of. So yes, amazing business, amazing strategies, we're making a lot of money, but this episode is really showing you that it is safe to make a lot of money, and it is possible to make a lot of money whilst having an incredible personal life. Because whether it's conscious for you or subconscious, a lot of people have this belief that scaling equals hustling, scaling equals hard, scaling equals burnout, scaling equals less time with your friends and your family and your kids. And that is just not true. Sure, let's set some healthy expectations here. We're all going to have different seasons. I've had a pretty big week this week, but what you'll hear in a minute is because majority of this month I have been so immersed in my personal life that I have barely worked. So this week was a little bit of a catch-up week for me. Also because next week I'm going away to Thailand and Vietnam, which is also why I'm recording this for you. I had pre-recorded already a fair few podcast episodes, and I felt like this pull to record this one spontaneously as a little bonus before I go away. Just because, like I said, I'm feeling so freaking good right now that you just have to hear this. No matter when you're listening to this, it's valuable to hear this. So I just want this episode to be evidence that you get to have it all. You get to have great health. You get to have great relationships and friendships. You get to have a freaking amazing business and client impact and results too. So let me walk you through how this has pretty much been another 100K cash month. We've still got several days left of the month, so we'll hit it. And let me walk you through what my month has actually looked like. September by default is one of my favorite months of the year because spring here in Australia, my birthday, my partner's birthday, everything just gets bright and beautiful in September. I recognize in other countries around the world, you're entering more of that winter season, but that's not the case where I am. So that is why September feels super, super special. So let me walk you through. Start of the month, just normal week in my life. It was super fun. Just worked, Pilates, hung out with Geordie, all of the things. But then the second week of September, it was my birthday on the 11th of September. I turned 28 years old, and Geordie had planned the most beautiful morning for me, and I'm just so grateful. He just treated me so well. We went to the beach and we went for a beach swim together. He took me out for breakfast. He got me the most thoughtful present. And we just, had the best day. And then later that day, I had 2 of my best friends and one of my best friend's partners drive up and fly up to come stay at our place for 4 days, which was so beautiful. So I got to have a birthday dinner with all of my best friends and Geordie, which was so much fun. So had a really beautiful day. And then I did not work at all for that next 4 days because I was present with having guests in my house, having 3 people in my house, wanted to be really present for that. So it was beautiful. Then the very day that they left, Geordie and I actually flew to Sydney. So we flew from Queensland to Sydney because one of my other best friends was getting married the very next day. And the coolest thing is she got married at the Sydney Opera House. I know, crazy. So we flew to Sydney and then we decided, let's make a trip out of that. So I got to meet new clients in Sydney. I got to catch up with my cousin who lives there, spend time with my friend who got married, and spend time with Geordie. So we had 4 days in Sydney. So I did work a little bit, but I was honestly like, I went and got my hair done. I went shopping. I went to different restaurants. I was exploring Sydney as well. So that was such a beautiful few days. One of my clients has a salon and I went to her salon and she gave me a beautiful facial and massage and it was just divine, and she did my eyebrows. It was incredible. It was so good to support a client's business as well. That was amazing. So yeah, spent 4 days in Sydney. Then we flew from Sydney to Adelaide. So first we were in Queensland, then we were in Sydney, and then we flew to South Australia, which is, for context for anyone that's new here, Geordie and I are from Adelaide. That is, where we were born and where we grew up. But 2 years ago we moved to Queensland and we freaking love it. But we still go to Adelaide quite a bit. So we decided to fly to Adelaide because the next day was going to be Geordie's 30th birthday, turning 30. So flew to Adelaide, stayed at my friend's place the whole time we were in Adelaide, which was so lovely. And yeah, that next day, it was then Geordie's birthday, so I spent the day with him, and then I took him out for a birthday dinner. But this is where things get extremely, extremely special. By the way, signing new clients all throughout this process, supporting existing clients all throughout this process, and just, living my best life. So I had told Geordie that we needed to fly to Adelaide because it was one of my friend's partner's birthdays. So that's why he thought we were flying there. But what he didn't know is I was actually holding a surprise 30th for him. There's no way I was letting that man get away with not having a party for his 30th. He's so humble and just doesn't want attention. But one thing I do know is that man loves his friends and family more than anything else. Whether they realize it or not, I'm sure they do. But I really wanted to hold a surprise. I've been keeping it in for freaking 2 months now, but I've actually known I've wanted to do it all year. So you best believe, am I glad that this is over. But anyways, I was quite nervous on the day, freaking hell. It was 1 week ago today actually. And I was so nervous that he was going to find out, and just the adrenaline of a surprise party. If anyone's ever done that, oh my God. I do recommend, but I also don't recommend because it was stressful. Not in terms of preparation, that was all super, super easy, but just all of a sudden I'm hiding my phone from Geordie and all of this sort of stuff. And I'm not used to doing that. We're so open and transparent in our relationship, and all of a sudden I'm deleting freaking text messages all the time, nervous about him being on my phone, all this sort of stuff, because I was so afraid he'd find out. And so, yeah, I'm glad that's over. But anyways, he thought we were going to my friend's partner's birthday. So we get in an Uber to drive there. I'm just trying to pretend I don't even want to go. I'm trying to pretend to be so cool, calm, and collected. Oh my God, I've got I feel like it's all coming back to me as I tell you all this. And I promise there's a full circle moment here as to why I'm telling you this. But we walk in and then, he gets the surprise of his life. Everyone he freaking cares about is there. My entire family, his entire family, all of his best friends from all walks of life, all at this beautiful pub that we were at. And he was so shocked. Oh, I'm going to get emotional just telling you. He was so freaking shocked. And then we just had the best day or afternoon and night of our lives. I, guys, by the way, hadn't drunk for over a year. I don't really drink alcohol. I haven't drunk very much over the last several years. But 1 year ago, I decided that's it. I no longer drink alcohol. I'm not against it. I don't have a problem with it. I can tolerate it and all of these things. I just honestly am not interested in it. I feel for the most part, get anything from it. Do you know what I mean? I'm one of those people, I'm either like going to get super, super drunk to like have fun, or there's no point in me having 1, 2, 3, or even 5 drinks. Like, it's just like, that's just not healthy for me. It doesn't add any value to my life. It doesn't make me feel any different. So I'm very all or nothing like that. And I was just like, well, then I'm going to be nothing, because it's obviously not good for you, whatever. So I hadn't drunk in over a year, but I was on such a high from this surprise that I had a little conversation with myself, and I was like, do I want to drink today? Because if I was going to, today would be the day. And I decided, yeah, I want to drink, only because like I was just celebrating. I honestly felt so good. I wanted to be a part of all the celebration, and I decided to drink. My ego could have been like, oh, but like, it's so cool to say you haven't drunk for a whole year. But I'm like, but that's not why I'm not drinking. It's not to be super cool of like, oh, I haven't drunk for 400 days. Like, it's not about that for me. And so I was like, it's whether I drink once in 2 years, who cares, right? So I was like, I'm gonna drink. So, and I was paying for the whole tab. Like, I had the tab open for everyone as well, and I was like, fuck it, I'm going to have a drink. So I got a drink, and I looked at it, and I showed my friends. I'm like, once I've taken a sip of this, I'm gonna go all in. And I did, and then I started drinking a lot. It was so much fun. I have never had so many shots. Actually, that's a lie. I've definitely had more shots than that before, but I'm not good at drinking liquid. Like, I'm not a very like quantity liquid person. So in order for me to actually get drunk and drink a lot, like, I need to have shots. That's how I'm going to do this. So I started doing shots, and I then started making everyone else do shots, and it was so much fun. The videos I have is insane. I've sent it to a few friends, or I've sent it to all my friends, but I've sent it to a few clients even, and they just cracked up because it's some funny videos. But basically, I made everyone do a shot. Even my freaking grandpa had to do a tequila shot with me. I can't even say that word out loud right now. It makes me feel sick. But I did a lot of shots. There's video proof of it. Had the best time. Probably had like 15 drinks, and more or less. And to me, that's like a lot. When I had barely eaten that entire day other than breakfast, because I was so anxious and nervous about the surprise, I couldn't eat. Didn't eat anything really at the party at all. So I was on more or less of an empty stomach, and I hadn't drunk for a year. Like, that is a recipe for disaster, but I somehow lasted until a solid 8:30 p.m. And then Geordie's mum put me to bed. But anyways, friggin' had the best day of our life. Like, I had got him a beautiful birthday cake. Everyone saying happy birthday. We ended up doing speeches, and it was just magic. Anyways, I went to bed very early because your girl was quite intoxicated, and Geordie stayed out. Anyway, so I woke up probably a few hours later, and I was like, where am I? Where's my phone? Where's Geordie? What's going on? Anyways, a few hours later, he comes home. Like, I could hear that I could just hear an Uber had arrived at that crazy time at night. So I then opened the door, and he just immediately burst into tears, like sobbing for hours. Like, he was so grateful. He was like, I cannot thank you enough. That was the best day of my life, and that is the nicest thing anyone has ever done for me in my entire life. Oh my God, it makes me so emotional. It was just so beautiful. We honestly just, talked then for hours at like 2 a.m. about how I planned it, all the things where he could have found out and didn't. We just, laughed and talked so much. We ate pasta at 3 a.m. in the morning at my friend's house while she was fast asleep. Like, we were just laughing and having the best time. Anyways, I woke up the next day, no hangover. Your girl doesn't get hangovers over here. I don't know, don't ask. It's just a miracle, to be honest. I felt like I could literally run a marathon the next day. It was wild. So we were just on such a high. And this is what I realized. I can't remember if I realized it in that moment or the next day. I don't know. But what I realized is nothing else fucking matters in life other than quality time with the people that you love. Like, literally nothing matters. It doesn't matter how much money I make. It doesn't matter how many awards I win. It doesn't matter what I achieve. Like, it doesn't, like, what matters is like feeling loved and being surrounded by people that you love. It was the best feeling to have everyone you care about in one room. Like, it's very, very rare in your life that you have all of the people you care about from all walks of life. Like, to have my family there, to have, Geordie's friends from the farm, and then Geordie's friends from school, and then my friends from school, and, our collective friends, and all these people, Geordie's family, all in one room. Like, it's very rare. Like, you experience it typically at someone's wedding, but that's about it. Like, some big parties. But it was the first time we just had everyone there, and, most people, of course, there were a few people that couldn't make it, which is sad, but everyone flew interstate and traveled and got accommodation. Like, people would do anything for Geordie, because Geordie's just would do anything for his people, and he's an amazing human and everyone loves him. So, and everyone wanted to be there. So many people went to so much effort to get there, because Geordie's from the country. Like, he just has friends from all over. So people went to great lengths, and that was and still is so greatly appreciated. Like, I still feel the gratitude in my heart that people did that. And so anyways, I realized that this is what life is about. It's about spending time with the people you love and having fun. And I got really emotional in this realization, because whilst I'm saying here that that's the only thing I care about, the reality is that my business created this opportunity. Truly, like, I couldn't have been that generous to pay for the tab, pay for the food, fly interstate, do all these things. I couldn't do all of that. I couldn't be generous. I couldn't go above and beyond if I didn't have money. And I only have money because I have a successful business. And I only have a successful business because I've been willing to put in the hard yards, the work, the investments, the risks, and take the actions to create it. And I freaking did that. And I am so, so proud of that, because that to me just means so much more than any $100,000 month, any $500,000 month, because there are people that make that but are miserable. There are people that make that but are empty inside. There are people that do that but in incongruent ways, or are stressed and exhausted. And that is not my reality, and it's not an accident. It was intentionally created. Like, I created it to have a spacious business model, to impact a lot of people, but not impact me in a negative way to do that. Do you know what I mean? And it was just this beautiful, beautiful realization that my business allows me to spend time with the people that I love, because I get an above average amount of time with the people I love because I have a lot of freedom. I can fly interstate and spend time with my grandparents, even like while I was in Adelaide, like, people wanted to catch up with me, and it could have been so easy for me to be like, oh, but I've got to work. I can't, sorry. I can only do it this 1 hour. But it's like, I had all this freedom to be like, you let me know when you're free and I'll come catch up with you because I'm free, That to me is so freaking priceless, that I can drop everything and be there for the people that I love. And it was just magic. So I really had to thank my business. Of course, I could thank many things, but my business definitely plays a significant role in this life that I have, us staying at beautiful hotels, us traveling overseas, interstate, being able to give to people and be generous and have fun. Like, my business has created that. And I wanted to create this episode today to share with you that sure, the money's great, sure, the impact's great, all of these things, but it's like, I want you to create a spacious business model so that you can spend time with your loved ones, whoever that is, whether that's friends, family, both, whatever else. That freedom of choice is just this priceless, priceless feeling to just be able to do what you want when you want, kind of thing. And I'm so, so grateful for it. Like, I can't even express to you. And so I really wanted to create this episode to kind of share that gratitude. So if you're at the moment struggling, you're stuck, you're lost, you don't know what your next steps are, that was me a few years ago. That was me. And we go through seasons of it, right? It's not to say I'll never feel stuck or never go through hard times again. I know that I will. That's life. But, I used to feel not good enough more often than not. I used to not make any money more often than not. I used to have to work 60 hours a week, across 5 casual jobs and get permission from 5 different people, every week if I ever wanted to do anything. And now I don't have to ask anyone for anything. And I'm really, really grateful for that. So this episode was really about spreading that abundance and gratitude, because I feel like energy is a real thing, even through podcasts or YouTube videos. You can feel the joy and the abundance, and that gives you inspiration, that gives you motivation. And I'm not even just guessing that. I get messages a lot of the time from, clients or podcast listeners saying, like, I've got one from a client that messaged me today. She said, just listened to episode 217 and it was so good for me to hear. Having capacity for more, for people being haters, for having CEO mindset, for leaning on others daily. It was so good. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Like, I just got that message just an hour ago, right? And so I know that, thank you, Karen, by the way. And so I know that, my energy is felt across, and that can move you to make certain decisions that ultimately change your life in a positive way. And so I really just wanted to share that so you have something to look forward to, more intentionality in how you create your business, so you have that spaciousness, and making certain changes, big or small, that create that ripple effect. It hasn't always been like this for me in my business, but to be honest, it has been for a fair bit of it, because I've always been quite intentional with, this doesn't feel aligned or this does feel aligned. I'm also a very, very organized and structured person, and I also have a lot of flow about me, but that organization has allowed me to work a lot smarter, which has allowed me to scale easier. And if that doesn't come naturally to you, well, I mean, that's why I teach that, so yeah, I just had to share that because I've really had the best freaking month ever, and we've literally made nearly $100,000 again. Like, are you joking? Like, hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars has been made in my business in the last couple of months. Like, that's just wild. Now, then, so I got back from Adelaide earlier this week. Then I've been in work mode this week, catching up on things, because then next week, I go to Thailand for a week to see my brother's girlfriend, my sister, and I'm going with Geordie, of course. So we're going to spend a week together all in Thailand, because my sister lives in Denmark, my brother lives in Alice Springs, and then Geordie and I live in Queensland. So it's pretty rare we all get to see each other. I haven't seen my sister in a long time. So we're going to sort of meet in the middle and go to Thailand, and we're going to have the best freaking time ever. And again, I'm not doing a single call while I'm away, and my business created that. Clients will still be supported. I'll still be signing new clients. Business will still be moving and growing because I'm organized. I mean, I'm recording this episode now because I like to be organized, and I like to provide value, but I think of these things in advance. And then after Thailand for a week, I'm going to Vietnam for a week, just me and my sister, for some quality time together. And again, like, the reason why my brother's not coming on that, because he works a 9 to 5 and he can't take off more than a week of work. So he has to go back. But my business is built in a way where I don't have to do that, and it's not to say 9 to 5 is right and, or wrong. It's not. It's just that I'm grateful for the life that I've created, because it allows me to say yes to things and do more things and all of that. So yeah, that's been my month. This is my upcoming month. 2 weeks of next month will literally be traveling overseas. This weekend, I'm running a weekend virtual retreat for my clients. So I do this every quarter for them. We just ran the first day today. It was 3 hours, and just the messages from clients being like, that was freaking unreal. This is the best investment I've made. My mind is blowing. This was incredible. Like, these are the messages I'm getting, and it makes my heart so happy. And then went to Pilates, and now I'm recording this. And then tomorrow we do it again, another 3 hours. And I'm just so grateful. I'm so, so, so grateful, as you can probably hear. So I just wanted to share that, because over the last month, I've been to a wedding. I've held a surprise 30th. I've had my birthday. I've had guests. I've been a guest. I've traveled interstate multiple times, and I'm about to go overseas, and clients have been feeling loved and supported all in this process. And to me, it's like, this is what it's all about, my friends. So hope that this episode gave you some inspiration and insight that it's not true that 100K months or even more or even less needs to equal burnout. And so if you're earning way less and you're exhausted, or you're earning way less and you're not happy with your business model, I'm telling you right now, that doesn't have to be your reality. You need to just change the structure of things. And that's what this weekend retreat has been about. It's been about building your scalable business model. And so everything we've talked about in the retreat is about building this exact lifestyle. So we've talked about scalable offers. We talked about scalable strategy. We talked about scalable ads. And now tomorrow we're talking about a scalable mindset, because there's absolutely a mindset involved in it, doing a whole bunch of Q&A and then building a 90-day plan before Christmas, because can you believe 90 days till Christmas that's just wild. And that's personally when I check out for the year. So we've got 90 days left, which means you could probably make another $300,000 at this point, which is so cool. So yeah, and if you decide to join Scale School or the 5K Fast Track at the time of recording this or after, you will get the replay from this freaking phenomenal retreat that I've just done, and I would love for you to join. So with that being said, if you want help to build a spacious, simple, sustainable and scalable business model, I would love for you to DM me the word scale on Instagram at Sofia Rose Bernardi, and we can have a chat to see what's possible for you in terms of growth, clients and revenue within your business, and what's holding you back from actually being able to create that. I love you so much. Thank you so much for listening. I just really wanted to share this unscripted from my heart to yours to help you see what is truly freaking possible when you go all in. I love you all. I'll speak to you soon. Bye.